Okay, a very good morning, children. How are you doing? Well, I miss the shout, I miss the sound. But anyway, we've got to carry on with life, right? Every day with the sunrise, there is a new beginning. And as human beings, we've got to live it. So live it up with the positive spirit, stay safe, and stay healthy. Yeah? Let's begin with comparing of the metals and the non-metals. The metals are hard, they are generally solid at room temperature. Most of the metals are shiny, they don't shatter. When I say they don't shatter, means that they are not brittle, or they don't break into 1,000 pieces or 1,000,000 pieces. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. I don't think this needs to be explained again, because good conductors of heat and electricity, because of which we use metals as your cooking pots and the wires through which electricity can travel. They are malleable, again malleable and ductile and sonorous. These are the three new words that you've learned. So malleable means they can be made into thin sheets, and because they can be made into thin sheets, you can make different shapes out of them. Ductile is that they can be drawn into thin wires, and it's very important for these two properties are extremely important for the metals to be used in our daily lives. The last one, sonorous, means they make a loud sound. On the other hand, for non-metals, many of them exist as gases. Many, like oxygen, nitrogen, helium, hydrogen. Of course, hydrogen is a little dicey. I'll explain it to you in later classes. And they are dull. So just look at, I put it as a comparative view. So just the opposite of shiny is dull. Here and the third point is don't shatter. So just the opposite of it is they are brittle. And the fourth point here is they are conductors of heat and electricity for metals, while non-metals are non-conductors of heat and electricity. So a very quick look at the questions. I've given you question number 1, 2 and 4 for homework. The only answer that's slightly difficult is mercury is a metal. Why is it unusual? Unusual means something that is not regular in the group. So metals, we said, are solids generally. The unusual characteristic of mercury, mercury was earlier used in the thermometer bulb, where now we generally find a red colored liquid. And I told you in the previous one of the lessons that mercury was abandoned, or they stopped using mercury because mercury is an extremely poisonous metal. But the characteristic of this is that it is liquid at room temperature, while all other metals are solids. Now please understand that there are some other metals which also exist at liquid but not at room temperature. That is the difference between and the speciality of mercury. Okay? Now, that's all in 6.3. Now let's move on to the next chapter. Please turn the page to page number 86. And here we go as we talk about the everyday materials and their properties. I'm trying to make it simple for you. Look at the chart now. There are 4 different materials. One is plastic, next is fibers, then ceramics and glass. I think plastic and glass, you are quite aware of the different materials that we have in our life made out of these materials. Okay? Let's go through the properties of plastics. They are flexible. When I say they are flexible, that means You can bend them into different shapes. And because you can bend them into different shapes and mold them, that's why plastic have come into our lives in a huge way, and today mankind is finding it extremely difficult to get rid of this menace, I will call it. The second point is it's lightweight. Before plastics, when I was a child or I was in school, we generally used to have these glass or metals that we used to use, whether it is your tiffin boxes that we used to carry or the water bottles, it used to be made up of glass or some kind of a metal. But then because it was lightweight and it was fancy, you could have different, pictures, and it was more showy. So people started changing to plastics. Next is it can be shaped easily. Again, this you can link it with the first point, that because it's flexible, you can shape it very easily. Now, the next property says that plastics can be either transparent or they can be opaque. I don't think I need to explain to you, but transparent means through which light can pass through, and opaque is through which light cannot pass through. So, if you have containers inside which you can see what is kept, you like to see it, right? So many of the, you can say, aesthetic appeal of an object or how it looks like used to come from using plastics because they are transparent. And sometimes if you don't want to show like toys and all, you have nice colored plastics. Because of these properties, they are used as containers. And now this is a little debatable point, that generally they don't react. I have added this word generally because somewhere I feel that many a times unknowingly these plastics do react. Whether it is the plastic bottles in which we store water. Have you seen the advertisements recently of late that don't keep the water inside your car, or transport the water, potable water, in covered trucks. All this is because the sunlight does have an effect. So even if we are not boiling or we are not heating the plastic bottles, but certainly these plastics may react. So I very strongly feel that we should, as individuals, start off with using other alternatives because they are really not very helpful. Then they are light and colorful. So I said already, they are appealing to the eyes. You like it. Oh, it's nice and bright and colorful. Then they may be recycled. Again, a huge impact of environmental disaster. And if you understand this word, yes, they are big words, but environmental disaster is what we are going through even today, right at this moment. So, and if you remember class, I did explain to you how many plastic water bottles are discarded every day from your class, from your building, from both the buildings, from Al Hale School. Then you keep multiplying the number of people and you imagine the amount of waste, sheer waste. So it shouldn't be maybe recycled. I'm waiting for the day when plastic have to be recycled. And by the way, from 1st of January 2021, Oman's government has made it compulsory that single-use plastics will be banned. So all these plastic packs which we get when we stand in Carrefour or City Center or Lulu, and we simply put one or two of our things inside, they are going to be banned. So you've got to carry your own cloth bags, your own bags from home and fill up your stuff. That's a really, really welcome change. Kudos to that. Okay. Now, because it may be recycled, the problem is that it takes ages to break down. Now, let's come to the next column. That's fibers. Now, fibers are either natural or they are synthetic. What do you mean by natural? Natural is something that you get from nature. okay, like cotton, like jute, okay, silk. All this is natural, while synthetic is something that man has learned to produce, like nylon, rayon, etc. And the characteristic of these fibers is that they are tiny threads. Because they are tiny or small threads, so they can be strong, yet they are bendy. The next is ceramics. Now, ceramics is found all over. We have our ceramic tiles, we have the ceramic, wash basins, and in many places they are used. So, ceramics, the advantage is that they can tolerate a very high temperature. And they are also hard, brittle, but very strong. The last column is glass, and glass again needs a lot of significance, because as plastic, glass is also very, regularly used in many of our daily life. So the important properties is that they are transparent, so light can pass through. That's why we have the window panes made up of sometimes glass that is transparent, or sometimes when we don't want others to see what is going on inside, so the glass need not be opaque and we want a little bit of sunlight to come in, then the glasses are translucent. They are hard but brittle because they break. Here also they can be colored, and they are waterproof. That's a very, very big advantage of glass, that they don't get wet. Now, here is a very important characteristic again, that it does not react with food. A very, very big advantage, that the glass does not react with food. It's cheap, so it's not heavy on your purse. It's recyclable. Okay, recyclable means you can recycle it, put all the glass, melt it down, again use it for some other purpose. But the disadvantage says that it's heavy, very heavy to carry, and it breaks down easily during transportation. So when it is being carried from one place to another, it will break down, and the chances of damage, by the company, whoever is transporting, is high, which is why even the companies have decided to shift to plastic. It's all money. Okay, now the next slide, I have answered question number 1 to question number 4, and question number 5 to 8 therefore is your homework. The next homework is make a table of the materials that you have studied, their properties, and suggest a use. Very simple. Please write down all the slides in your notebook. I would like you to write down exactly how I have written in the form of a table. Try to use the plain side of your notebook. Please put today's date. I am noting down the names of the children who are sending me the homework, and this will be used for your assessment. Have a great day. Have a nice learning. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Thank you.